Hey guys, it's Brent. I'm back to talk about another mode. So today we have agency assessment. This is probably one of the most important modes in the game because it relates to gear. Now gear I'll do a separate video on about the different levels, fusing, enhancing, boosting, all of that stuff. But essentially getting these legendary gears, this is going to be the core to boosting your battle power. I get a 35,000 BP boost to every character just for gear. So I'll talk about that shortly in another video, but for now let's talk about the mode in which we acquire it. And again, that's agency assessment. So just to start out, I will mention this does come with a title, potentially. It's incredibly difficult to get. I am rarely able to pull it off myself, but that title is... should be in rankings, actually. Superstar. You get a 1% attack and 1% defense bonus. It lasts for 7 days, and you have 2 chances to get it a week. The way that you get it is by scoring in these rankings. In the top bracket, which is 70 now, damage, you have the most DPS on your server. So, again, that is very difficult, but that is a possibility. Alright, now to get into the mode, there are 3 different potential floors, or, I guess different areas. And your permit can be, so for example, my permit is level 20. You start at level 1. If you get a B, you level up by 1 level, and you get 1 reward. An A is 2 levels and 2 rewards, and an S is 3 levels and 3 rewards. Each floor has different gimmicks, a different play style. So I'll go through those to explain them. Here we also have themes of each week. So we have these different kind of hazards, right? So thunder, the thunder can hit and stun you. Above floor 9, bosses have damage decrease and attack increase, right? So we have these different mutators, I guess. And you can see what the next weeks are going to be as well. Falling rocks, these are another stun thing. So that kind of lets you plan for, what's coming. So keep an eye on the different mutators that do come up. Next up, you have recommended quirks. So these 3 characters get a 50% boost. If they're solid characters like these 3, then that is a big deal. For some characters, that doesn't matter much. Now, you can check out the strategy tab to see how to fight each boss. I'm not going to go over this too much because I am going to kind of give a lot of these tips. I can't guarantee all of them as I show you what each floor looks like. But this is the place that you can go for yourself and research and read to learn about how to fight each boss. And then you also have your quests. Every day, complete an agency assessment. Complete different floors to get enhancement materials. And then these are the first time you complete certain floors. The last thing on this screen is your reward boxes. So as you can see, when you beat a permit level 15 or higher, and that is true of, it looks like, all of the levels, you get 3 legendary gears for that level. They're random. 102 enhancement materials and 2 special alloys. So you want to make sure to at least beat a 15 or higher. That can be difficult, especially if you kind of hit level 70 and you don't have those really strong characters yet. But you can also find, I mean, there are always people who will carry you through your permit, or you can join a permit and see if somebody can help you out. If you want to join my Discord, I'm always looking for permits to run myself. So I would be happy to run with you. So there are definitely ways to do it. You should always aim to beat at least 15 just to get those 3 legendary gears. However, you also have, and I'll show you on my team, high earnings or high yields. You get 5 of those a week, 6 if you buy above. So for every floor you beat above 10, you're guaranteed a legendary gear while you have high yields remaining. Each character has 2 stamina per day. So you can only use each character twice, and if you lose a floor, your permit breaks. But if you beat floor 24, it levels up and you can't use it, so it essentially breaks. So you've only got the 1 permit and you have to join other people's if you want to use more. You can do that through team match, search for your level. For me, it's only showing that because I'm in a team already. But if I leave and come back and I do a solo match, I can pick any level and any floor. So that's basically it for the overview of how this works. Now I'll go ahead and go into each different floor. So my current floor 20 is forest training, so we will cover that. I don't like to kick people. Oh man, people keep joining. See, people are always looking for these. But I do have friends that I am going to run with, so I am sorry to those people, but my friends come first for my permit. Now I'm going to try Ida. Auto is fine on very early floors, but as you start getting up higher, you really don't want to auto too much. You'll really sacrifice your damage. So that's just some general advice. But as Ida, you don't want to auto. But I'm not particularly great. I'm still kind of training him. So or training as him. So the first match in Forest, as you saw, is just some ninjas, right? Then you break a tree and you come in here. The first thing you want to do is take out these ninja stand-ins, because if you don't, you can see that we got somebody, a second enemy who came in, and he has significantly more health than the stand-in, right? So we've made this a little harder on ourselves by not taking that out in time. You want to dodge and avoid stage hazards as much as possible. So you'll see the little red meter or the red circle coming in. So make sure you get out of that circle and dodge before it hits you. Otherwise it can stun you, it can mess stuff up. Now we're coming into the first mini boss, I guess, or the first boss of Forest. And this is Hunter. He has a lot of range attacks, a lot of ranged attacks, I guess. He has some, AoE stuff, but for the most part, his normal attacks aren't bad. Just try to maybe stay behind him. But this is where he becomes a serious problem. He'll jump up and freeze 2 of the players. Sometimes you'll see a glitch and 2 can run around, but he freezes 2 of the players, and the others have to, or the other one, or 2 in that case, have to run around and pick up those orbs. The frozen players, and I believe all players, steadily drain HP in that time. So if you don't pick up those HP orbs when you're the unfrozen one, your teammates can die. So that is one reason you want to stay off auto. Auto will not pick up anything. They'll just stand there for that whole phase. So that's not great. You want to try, like I didn't manage to, but you want to try to take him out before he jumps off again, because this also adds time, right? And as time goes down, your the longer you take, the worse grade you get, and the fewer rewards you get, and the less your permit is updated or upgraded. So it's actually not that bad if you have high yields left, right? Because you're guaranteed a legendary, but the more pulls you get, or the more flips you get, the more chances. So you'll see that at the end. Now this one is also frustrating and doesn't work on auto. Your character will just go attack the closest dummy until it dies, and then find another one and another one. I didn't really get to show it there. My team was pretty effective, and I didn't see the glimmer. But you do have like a blue outline when you're looking for the one with a dagger. Well, not a blue outline around the whole thing, but a blue outline around the little dagger. These chompers, they can be very frustrating. The one with the green head shoots out heals. You want to get in the way of those heals, but you don't want to intercept it too close to him. That is the biggest mistake that I make, and sometimes, I've lost a whole permit because of it. When he has a healing skill, make sure you defense break, and otherwise just whittle down his HP. But if you heal it, or if you intercept that healing orb too close to him, it will heal him, as we just did. Gets him back to full health. So this can ruin a good run. So you got to be really careful when taking them out. A lot of people go for the poison chomper first. I prefer going for this healer first. It's preference. I don't know if there's necessarily a right way, but whatever you're doing, just make sure you intercept the healing orbs right in the middle. What I generally think is fair is the player with the lowest DPS should be going out to get those, but as long as somebody does. And then the boss of Forest is Katana. He immediately jumps in, and then you just start attacking him, avoid his sword. He has tons of knockback, and like stun stuff. So you want to avoid that as much as possible. And then he switches to battle stance. He jumps in the air and eventually will slam down. I dodge like mad and hope I dodge it. There's probably a better way. So when he's in battle stance, he slashes more sporadically, and he shoots out these tornadoes too that can push you away. But he also has falling swords. So that was that orange circle that you could see around one of the players. If you're the player with the falling swords, you want to make sure you stay close to him. The falling sword will hit him, take off one of those 2 bars, and then the second one will take off the other, and it'll knock him out of that stance. And then it gives you the MVP. That's who dealt the most damage. There are no rewards for that. So we got a B. That means we only flip 1 card. So we could also use extra flips to pick other cards if we want to. but that's only if you have those golden flips. This is the mode where you want to use those. Pretty much always. I don't think they're worth it in any other mode. So Town Night Raid opens up on this street, and there are 2 groups of 3 enemies. A solid Ochako can rain down some rocks on him. You can also, any AoE attacks. Grouping is useful. All Might cards or something like that. Endeavor. But, yeah, basically your first mission is to take out these 6 enemies. And then 3 more show up, and we'll take them down. So if you can, make sure you race to the portals, save those 5 seconds. All 3 players have to be at the portal, or 5 seconds have to go by from when the first player gets there. So you want to save as much time as you can in this mode. Now, Thousand Eyes is the first boss of Town Night Raid. He unleashes Paper Circle, which can bind you in place. He has, this tornado attack. Mostly just keep dodging his attacks, just kind of standard. And when he does release Paper Circle, try to stay away from that. But the big thing that makes this boss unique should be coming up soon. There it is. He summons his clones. You want to do your best to take those clones out before they jump and spread out across the battlefield. Group them if you can, but basically just try to keep them together. And then he comes back together. Now, I'm not 100% sure if he can summon clones twice in this mode. I think that the clone summoning is tied to how much damage he has left, or how much health he has left. So, I don't think it can happen twice here.
Let's get this over.
Once you take him out, you come back to this group of 3. So, Town Night Raid has a lot of groups. Town Night Raid is pretty well geared toward AoE characters. So, World Hero Mission Deku is solid. Ochako, Hado, those types of characters tend to do a lot of damage here. In Forest, I would say it's geared a little bit more towards single target. So, your Shigarakis, Idas, maybe. Now, Ida is a little bit of an exception because his damage is so just astronomical if done right that he can really be solid, on any floor. But yeah, Forest is a little more single target. You don't have these groups because here you have another group of 3, right? So on Town Night Raid, you want to focus on cards like All Might and Endeavor if you've got them, Nezu. On Forest, you want to be focusing a little bit more on cards like Mount Lady that deal massive damage to 1 unit, or Toga. So, just something to keep in mind.
Time for work.
Now, this Violent Bull, as you can see, he runs around, knocks you off course. It's pretty terrible. Terrible. Anyway. So, you want to get his shield down as much as you can, and then he kind of hesitates for a minute. And Next, we're moving on to Hanzo. He is our boss of Town Night Raid. He always opens with that technique. Make sure you dodge it. And Hanzo likes to jump around a lot and use those different water techniques. So he has a hand that he can strike you with. Let's see what else comes up. Shortly, he should be doing his first super annoying attack that will immobilize me. That doesn't seem to be happening, so that's nice. There it is. So he puts you in this bubble, and you can't hit him. If you dodge the bubble, you don't get like stuck and lifted into the air like that, but you still can't hit him. Then he also does this where he jumps around and shows up somewhere else. That's really bad for Ida, unless you can, keep your combo going. When he stands on this and the tornadoes emanate from everywhere, it can be a lot of damage dealt to you, and he is invincible. I have damaged him while he's standing on that little, I don't know, water tornado, whirlpool, whatever it is. But I think that's more a glitch than the rule. Watch out for the sharks that show up, and for the green spots of sewage that he leaves behind. Those damage you for just standing in them. As you can see, so my first revive was free. If you die a second time, it costs 10 hero points to revive. You automatically revive after 10 seconds without paying any cost and without losing one of these counts. But if you want to revive more quickly, you have to, the first one's free and then it starts costing hero points. Now, floor 70 gets tough. Even, as you can see, I'm struggling with it. Granted, I'm not great as Ida, but... No, I'm sorry, not floor 70, level 70 permits. So, they get pretty tough in the upper end. Look for people to help get you through that. We get one card flip again. I like using an extra one when I get this high. I don't think the rates are any higher at high floors, but it makes me feel better. So Chemical Plant starts out here with, I think similarly to Night Raid, with kind of two separate groups, but you can pull these ones together much easier. This is another one that is mostly focused on AoE units, I would say, just because you do have more groups. The second set, you're going to fight Giant Villain. If you break his shield, he'll shrink down and be more movable, I suppose.
Come on, let's get this over with.
And Steel Bulwark is going to be your first boss. He has a lot of health, a lot of defense, and he charges at you and can, throw you in the air and kind of not stun you, but I guess render you unable to attack for a minute. So Ida is pretty solid against him. Deku is actually pretty good because of his movement and dodging. I rarely get, picked up into his madness. And as you can see here, Shigaraki is dealing massive single target damage. That's my brother's main, and he has invested a lot into that character, so it's nice to see him kind of thriving. Alright. Now when he's done, you have this long running section. If you're on auto, you'll run straight into those. You can dodge past them, but I tend to just avoid them. The first person up here should target that antenna. It fills up a little bar. Everybody else should be targeting these rocks. Try to break them down as quickly as you can and get through to the next batch of enemies. It is batch of 4. Take them down. And then you have a Minotaur, 2 Gaping Jaws, and a Chomper. You'll want to focus on the Chomper because he heals the whole group. So try to take him out as quickly as you can. At least break his shield so that you can, move him around, kick him around, and keep him from healing. And then you can take out the others, which they did, and move on to the final boss of Abandoned Chemical Plant, who is Sludge Villain. This guy's my favorite to fight, just personally. I think he's fun, but watch out for all of his, massive AoE attacks. He has a lot of sweeping movements that kind of cover the whole map, or as you can see, he'll slam his fist down, swipe like that. A lot of his attacks push you back, which is a little frustrating. Mud Bombardment, he just shoots a bunch of different, he shoots at a bunch of different locations. So just stay out of the red as much as you can, or dodge out of it. Now when he goes into Mud Tornado, he's actually not invincible in this mode, and that's an important note. But he still does massive damage. So you want to avoid it, or do what I did and use the ultimate to kind of mitigate that. Then he gets weakened, but it's for a very brief amount of time. And then you just finish him off. He can't do Mud Tornado more than once, so just be careful of that. And here we got an S, so we get 3 card flips. That's it for agency assessment mode. Your permits reset every Thursday and Sunday. And as you can see, if you come back after a reset, your high yields have reset and your permit is back at floor 1 and you have no treasure for this round. So make sure you do your permit every reset, right? And get as much gear as you can. Again, feel free to, I'll try to put a Discord link in the description. So if you want to join that, there should be people there who can help you with permits or, answer questions or anything like that. So thanks guys, and I look forward to next time.